South Korea's divide over the North Korean nuclear threat. South Korea, a nation often seen through a unified lens, is sharply divided when it comes to perceptions of the nuclear threat posed by its neighbor to the north. Despite a shared history shaped by war, dictatorships, and economic growth, South Koreans hold vastly different views on the dangers from North Korea's growing nuclear arsenal. This division isn't new, but recent developments in Pyongyang's nuclear and missile capabilities have intensified the split. While older generations and conservative South Koreans tend to express more fear about North Korea's threats, younger and more liberal citizens often view them with less concern. However, opinions don't follow a simple age or political divide. Many younger citizens worry deeply, while some older individuals who have lived through decades of tense relations remain relatively indifferent. A history of tension and unease. To truly understand South Korean sentiments toward the North, one must revisit the Korean War. Beginning in 1950, when North Korea attacked the South, the war left the peninsula divided. An armistice ended the conflict in 1953, but no peace treaty was signed, meaning the two nations remain technically at war to this day. Since then, North Korea has pursued a nuclear weapons program that started in earnest in the 1990s. Despite repeated international negotiations and sanctions, Pyongyang has continued to test missiles and nuclear devices, leading many in the South to view the North as a looming, unpredictable threat. For example, in May 2024, a failed North Korean spy satellite launch demonstrated Pyongyang's growing, albeit flawed, technological ambitions. Yet, many South Koreans have grown used to North Korean provocations, brushing them off as routine. For some, the North's aggressive rhetoric is just background noise, something they've lived with their entire lives. The fear and the indifference. There's no better way to see this split than by listening to the people of South Korea. Some, like Kim Jae-hyun, a 22-year-old law student, believe in preparing for the worst. After serving in the military along the tense border between North and South Korea, Kim has been vocal about the dangers posed by the North. He stockpiles military gear and reads up on defense strategies, fully convinced that North Korea could launch an attack at any moment. People take the looming threat too lightly, he says. It's like they see a knife coming closer but never think it could actually stab them. Conversely, there are South Koreans who are far less concerned. Despite acknowledging the North's frequent missile tests, individuals like 21-year-old Marine recruit Kim Shin say they don't let the threat affect their daily lives. His father, a 56-year-old office worker, admits that many South Koreans have become desensitized to North Korea's actions. When I hear that North Korea has fired a missile, I think, oh, they did it again. We focus more on our daily lives. Even among those preparing for the worst, the anxiety varies. Shin Nari, a 34-year-old master's student, has stocked up on food and water for a potential nuclear attack. However, her preparedness is mixed with resignation. In a few seconds, we could just blow up, she says, highlighting the unpredictability of life under the shadow of nuclear threats. The role of politics and the U.S. alliance. South Korean governments have swung between appeasement and hardline stances when dealing with the North. When liberal presidents, such as Moon Jae-in, held power, North Korea engaged in dialogue, even staging summits with South Korea and the United States. However, under conservative leadership, such as current President Yoon Suk-yeol, tensions often escalate, with Pyongyang responding by ramping up weapons tests. At the heart of the debate is South Korea's reliance on the U.S. for protection. The U.S. has long promised to shield South Korea under its nuclear umbrella, ensuring that any North Korean attack would be met with overwhelming force. However, under former U.S. President Donald Trump, who questioned the alliance's value, many South Koreans began to doubt the reliability of American protection. Polls reveal that over half of South Koreans now support the idea of developing their own nuclear weapons. Experts like Robert Carlin and Siegfried Hecker, who have extensive experience in North Korea, argue that the current situation on the peninsula is more dangerous than it has been at any time since early June 1950. They believe that Kim Jong-un may have already made the strategic decision to go to war, which casts an ominous shadow over the future. A nation on edge. Public opinion in South Korea is notoriously difficult to gauge, especially when it comes to the North. Although some citizens appear unfazed by the North's threats, Alarm spikes when provocations like nuclear tests occur. In a 2023 survey, 45% of respondents expressed concern about North Korea's nuclear weapons, while 30% claimed not to worry at all. Much of this nonchalance can be attributed to years of exposure to North Korean threats, which have often proven to be hollow. However, younger generations, born long after the Korean War, may not share the same level of concern as older generations who lived through the initial conflict and the tense Cold War years. Nonetheless, there remains a palpable sense of unease. Even though many South Koreans go about their daily lives without constant worry, the ever-present possibility of war remains just beneath the surface. Conclusion. The division in South Korean sentiment toward North Korea reflects the complexities of life on a peninsula that has lived under the shadow of conflict for more than 7 decades. While some prepare for the worst, others dismiss the threat as background noise in their day-to-day lives. As North Korea continues to build its nuclear arsenal, South Koreans will likely remain split on whether the threat is real or something they've simply learned to live with. Like, comment and subscribe.